Top 10 Essay Topics About Brain. Effects of Physical Education on Brain. How does physical education impact the brain's functions and cognitive abilities? Try to research this question in your essay. Clarify the link between exercise and increased blood flow to the brain, better memory and focus, and the release of neurotransmitters. Furthermore, you might illustrate how physical activity can positively affect mood and mental well-being. Neurological disorder, effects of schizophrenia on the brain and behavior. In this paper, you can research the impact of schizophrenia on the brain and behavior. We propose you delve into its neurological underpinnings. Explain the disrupted neural connections, neurotransmitter imbalances, and brain structure abnormalities associated with schizophrenia. Moreover, you might demonstrate how these factors cause the disorder's symptoms and behavioral changes. Emotion as a performance of the brain. How are emotions processed in the brain? What is their role in human behavior and decision-making? To answer these questions, we suggest covering the amygdala's role in emotional processing and the connection between emotions and memory. Also, you might look into the influence of neurotransmitters like dopamine and the implications for understanding emotional disorders and social interactions. Traumatic brain injury, causes, diagnosis, and treatment. This essay should examine the causes, methods of diagnosis, and potential treatments for traumatic brain injuries, TBIs. We propose you begin by detailing the various reasons for TBIs. Further, you could describe diagnostic tools like CT scans and MRIs. Discuss the classification of TBIs based on severity and present treatments. The latter may include rest, therapy, and surgical interventions. Consciousness as a brain process. Here, we urge you to explore the relationship between brain activity and consciousness, unraveling the mystery of human awareness. For this purpose, you could define consciousness and clarify the role of the brainstem's reticular activating system. Besides, you may explore altered states of consciousness, like sleep and meditation, and touch upon the philosophical implications of understanding consciousness. The two hemispheres of the brain. The brain's left and right hemispheres have their unique roles. Your paper could examine the processes and distinctions of both hemispheres. Assess the lateralization of functions in the left hemisphere and spatial abilities in the right hemisphere. Likewise, you can clarify how the corpus callosum eases transmission between the two hemispheres. Interesting findings on the brain development in the childhood. The problem of brain development and functioning still has tons of areas for research. In your essay, we advise you to focus only on intriguing findings about brain development during childhood. You might cover topics like synaptic pruning, sensitive language and skill acquisition periods, and the influence of enriched environments. Also, highlighting the effects of adverse childhood experiences on brain development and later outcomes would be an excellent idea. How does marijuana affect the brain? The question of using marijuana is highly controversial. Your paper could focus on its impact on the brain's functions and the potential benefits and risks of its use. Explain how cannabinoids interact with the endocannabinoid system. Spotlight the short-term cognitive effects like impaired memory and attention. In addition, you might touch upon medical applications and weigh in on the potential long-term consequences. Classical music, influence on brain and mood. Music is an essential part of human life. Many individuals react to melody without even realizing it. In your essay, we recommend you delve into the mood-altering effects of music, specifically classical music. Exemplify studies showing how classical music can activate the brain's reward centers, improve focus, and reduce stress and anxiety. Furthermore, you can give examples of well-known compositions often associated with particular emotional responses. Stress and its effects on the brain and body. In this paper, you can scrutinize how stress influences the brain and body. It would be best to study both short-term and long-term outcomes. Detail the body's stress response and the role of hormones like cortisol. Illustrate how chronic stress can cause adverse changes in the brain. Moreover, you could highlight coping mechanisms and touch upon the importance of stress management for overall health.